Hello everyone, this is Faraz Ahmed, and today I'm going to talk on a long QT syndrome. But this is again a very high yield topic on your exam. You are sure to get some questions on it as well. So let's spend few minutes and understand it. Before I can talk about the long QT syndrome, let's talk about what is QT interval itself. Well, the QT is a beginning of a ventricular depolarization, that is marked by the QRS, to the end of a ventricular repolarization, that is T. So it's the beginning of the QRS complex to the end of the T wave. It is normally a 0.44 second in a male or 0.46 second in females, or it is about 9 to 11 boxes that you can see. You can count from here. That's a 1, it is 2, it is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have got 10 boxes, which is a normal QT interval. If it is more than that, it tells you that there is a long QT syndrome. Okay, now you can count again here. This is a normal QT interval. You can see that there are about 9 to 10 boxes, and in this, which is representing the long QT, you will see that the boxes has raised to 14 to 15 or 16 maybe. So that's represent that it is a long QT syndrome. And here in this picture, you can also see from the Q to T wave, you can find that there are more than 11 small boxes. What a long QT syndrome does is it will lead you to the arrhythmia, it can lead to the heart failure, and it will lead to the sudden death. So there are the different types of the long QT syndrome. One are the acquired and other are congenital. Let's talk about acquired. Acquired are caused mainly by the drugs. And what are those drugs? We remember these drugs by a formula called as A, B, C, D, and E. The A stands for antiarrhythmics. The antiarrhythmics are those of class 1, that is class 1A, writing A here, and the class 3 drugs. We're talking about the class 1 in quinidine, the procainamide, disperamide, and 3 drugs are amiodarone, sotalol, doflidide as well. The B stands for antibiotics. What are those antibiotics? These are erythromycins, these are clithromycins, these are the pentamidine. And C stands for antipsychotics. C stands for psychotics here. Those are haloperidol, the chlorpromazine, thioridazone. These are the ones which do cause a long QT interval. D stands for antidepressants. These are the TCA. These are the fluoxetine, the SSRI, and few others. E stands for antiemetics. These are a domperidone. These are suspiride. And other drugs can be antihistamines, terfenadine, and they can be anti-malaria like the chloroquine and few others. But these are the drug causes of a long QT interval. There are also some electrolyte disturbance which do also cause a acquired long QT syndrome. These are the low calciums, the low potassiums, and the low magnesiums. Other causes could be MI, the myocarditis, the hypothermia, and subarachnoid hemorrhage. So these are the acquired long QT syndrome causes. What about the causes of congenital long QT syndrome? These are the Jervell-Lange syndrome. This is actually a autosomal recessive disorder which does have the deafness in it, and that happens because of abnormal potassium channel. Another is a Romanov-Ward syndrome. Remember, in Romanov-Ward syndrome, you do not have the deafness, unlike that of Jervell-Lange syndrome. Okay, how would we treat it? Well, if it is unacquired, if it is acquired, then you have to avoid the drugs, and you have to check the electrolytes whether there is low potassium, low calcium, and low magnesium. If that is so, then you have to give IV magnesium sulfate. Remember, you should not give beta blocker, since beta blocker are contraindicated in a acquired long QT syndrome. How would you treat a congenital long QT syndrome? That is beta blocker. Remember, the beta blocker is a first line treatment in a congenital QT syndrome, but be aware of bradycardia. If it is not effective, the beta blocker is not effective, then you can use a permanent pacing. If the patient is, say, refractory to the beta blocker, or he is refractory to the pacing, then the third step is a high left thoracic sympathectomy. And if all of these fails, then you go with a ICT. Now remember that they ask you about the first line in congenital QT syndrome, and they also ask you the first line in the acquired long QT interval. Remember, the first line in congenital is BB, and the acquired, you have to avoid the drugs, or you have to give a IV magnesium sulfate. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe my channel for more videos.